I'm not too loud here. um, Welcome and thank you very much. We're very honored to have this national workshop with adult educators, managers, DHET as well. I just very quickly before we start, just as starting, I'd like to introduce our Dean of the Faculty of Education, and he will. This building is in large um, part due to the efforts of our dean, and so our dean is Professor Rajendran Govender, and he will just very briefly open the sessions, and I'll come in a little bit later. Thank you.
Uh, Good day, colleagues. I hope you're well. Um, I know it's cold in Western Cape, but thank you for making the effort to come to this important event that's being held and hosted by the University of Western Cape in conjunction with our colleagues from the Department of Higher Education and Training. It is somehow, um, I find that DHET quite often wants to be linked to UWC for many events. I mean, we had the Mega Mats last year, which was a big event, and RPL. I think RPL is a significant aspect that we need to focus on. And the reason for that, and coming back to community colleges, when we developed the NASCA for adults, I was the writer for the mathematics one. Uh, And in my recent appointment to the Council of Malusi, I've raised the issue what happened to NASCA. So that is one of the programs to address the imbalances of the past and the injustice of the past, because there are many of our people that needs that minimum requirement, the qualification of the grade 12 to get into other institutions, higher education, and widen access to education. The Faculty of Education is very proud that at University of Western Cape 2 years ago we received the RPL award in terms of pursuing the RPL as an important gateway for our students from the various communities coming into the University of Western Cape. And I can recall way back when I came in here, when I was a program coordinator, RPL was an integral part that we started focusing on, and it is growing and we're strengthening. And UWC, by the way, our RPL unit and coordinator is one of the leading institutions across the spectrum in higher education. I think we're doing a lot of good work. But coming back to where we are, I think we're addressing a very, very significant aspect now, particularly in South Africa, uh, looking at this basic skills set. And the current climate in South Africa, if you watch the events very recently in terms of employment and why certain things are happening, it's important that we develop the skill sets of people that can get into those workplaces, like welding, uh, sewing, and etc. And so, is how do we recognize the potential in people that never had the opportunity of furthering the education through the normal pathways? Do we go back to the communities and have conversations with the communities to make them aware that there is opportunity to strengthen yourselves in terms of the recognition of prior learning so there can be better opportunities for you. You can be the next manager of that particular company or that particular project, isn't it? To take them away from the low income groups and let them become big opportunities to create companies and then employ more people, isn't it? And once you employ more people and people have income, you have a better society, isn't it? So that's how I see RPL playing an important role. And we have to recognize that RPL is the vehicle to change society because we have too large a number that's out there without that. Okay. And in many of those issues were particularly related to one, not having the finance to progress to different levels of education, and also in the past, but past has gone by 30 years or 35 years now, but we need to really look at the situation on the ground. So with that said, I also want to place on record our sincere appreciation for the Institute of Post-School Studies, which has three pillars in it, right? The TVET, the higher education, and adult education. And RPL is taken seriously by our colleagues who currently have also been to Tanzania recently and done some workshops across our borders. So it's not just here in South Africa, right, that we have a footprint. Our colleagues are engaged across Africa, right? And some of them participate in international conferences as well. And that is Dr. Kaelin and uh, Dr. Seamus, Dr. Nadim Hendricks recently as well. So we have, and then obviously Nigel and team, they're quite involved in that. And so with that said, I want to extend a very warm welcome to all of you, and particularly Advocate Monica van der Veld from the DHET. You're welcome. This is your home, and any guidance you want, you can engage with us, and we also learn from you. And thank you for supporting us. Yeah. And so with that said, Dr. Seamus and company, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Prof. Govender. I suppose just at this stage of the proceedings, it'd be helpful for you to know my name. I'm Seamus Needham. I'm the director of the Institute for Postgraduate Studies, and so very warm welcome and thank you for travelling all the way um, just for this important workshop. So very briefly, the Institute for Postgraduate Studies, as Prof. Govender noted, we're an academic research institute, which sounds quite highfalutin, but effectively, we are normally based in kind of postgraduate qualifications. So these are anything over the normal undergraduate degree. And we offer a range of master's and PhD programs in adult and community education, in TVET, and in higher education studies, study of universities. But I think it's very important to note that IPSS, we're a very unconventional academic institute. We were actually a non-profit organization who bust our way into UWC many years ago as the Further Education and Training Institute. And we became an academic institute in 2015. But before that, I think all of us have been in a sense, activists. We come from an NGO or non-profit background. And so for us, it's very, very important to actually focus on the social impact, the socioeconomic impacts, and not just academia for academic sake. Um, Basically, that as Prof. Govender noted, UWC is very well known for recognition of prior learning. And Dr. Nathim Hendricks, sitting just here in front, was actually one of the frontrunners to introduce RPL way back, decades ago, and has been working with RPL for um, well over 10, 15 years. Dr. Kellyanne Aplunzakufa is also absolutely has experience both within the TVET college sector, but also has got huge expertise in RPL as well. And in, has also just her main studies have been around the areas of early childhood development. And so, in effect, recognition for prior learning is absolutely critical to the post-school sector. And without that, I think, given South Africa's historic past, RPL needs to become absolutely mainstream. Um, that faces challenges even within universities to try and get in through RPL into education degrees. It's possible, but it's not a mainstream form of access. And we're hoping that working with yourselves as colleagues, that RPL becomes mainstreamed within adult and community education and training. Um, so basically, we're here to support you. We're extraordinarily honored to have you because I think the difference often between ourselves and yourselves is that you're on the ground. You are actually dealing directly with people and making life chances available to people. And that is so incredibly important. And I really hope that this is a very successful workshop. And we're delighted and honored to have you there. And I'm going to now ask Dr. or Advocate Monica van der Walt just to also give us a very brief address. Yeah. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Needham, Professor Govender, Dr. Aploon Zagufa, Dr. Hendricks. We are so honored. It's so nice in the CET sector when we are being treated as royalty, isn't it? Huh? Just arriving here and being treated with such dignity and respect, it really makes me feel like a royal princess. And we really appreciate the fact that the university puts in, and the Faculty of Education and the Institute, that you invest so much energy and time and dedication to our CT colleges. It does not go unnoticed. Um, I always say it's like a baby that we are growing together. And from where we started 3 years ago, it's nice to see the project is growing, and we are involving more people. And it's just going to go from strength to strength as it already is. So, on behalf of all the CT deputy principals, the lecturers who are here, I really hope nobody is still stuck at a hotel waiting for a shuttle. Is everybody here? I received a few phone calls this morning of people that were feeling very anxious. Uh, so enjoy the workshop, make the best of it, and the main thing is we cannot train and not implement. So going back to the colleges, we have to go and do and offer RPL. Thank you very much. Enjoy the workshop. I'll be with you for the 3 days.
Right. Folks, we've come through the very first and important part of the workshop. You have arrived. I think the next stage is I'm delighted to announce it's lunch. So now, so basically, we need everybody, I think, just to go upstairs. Am I correct? And yeah, and lunch will be served there. And then we're actually going to start, I think, at 13:10 with the panel discussion. And so that will be, so basically, we're not leaving you a lot of time. You've got 40 minutes to try and get as full as possible. And then where is the actual the panel discussion will take place right here. So if we could just come back down at 1:10, and we'll start the panel discussion. So thank you very much, colleagues.
that you were able to enjoy the first part of the program and also that you enjoyed some socialization and lunch as well. So, next on our program is a panel discussion on the pilot project that is still running but has also formally concluded. Um, our panelists for today will be Dr. Naveem Hendricks. He is the project coordinator from the Institute for Postschool Studies at the University of the Western Cape. Our next Dr. Hendricks will present as well as lead the panel discussion. Our next panelist will be Advocate Monica van der Walt, who is the Director, Lecturer Development and Support in Community Education and Training. And then we welcome Ms. Fundile Dlamini, who is a project manager in the directorate from the KwaZulu-Natal Community Education and Training College, as well as Ms. Nomalanga Nseli from the KwaZulu-Natal Community Education and Training College. She's also a project manager in the directorate. And then last but not least, Mr. Bekani Kumalo, who is the project coordinator in the Gauteng Community Education and Training College. Welcome, panelists, and we hope that you will enjoy the discussion. Over to you, Dr. Hendricks.
Hello. Thank you very much. The purpose of this session is to reflect on the RPL pilot project that was offered last year. And as Dr. Aplun Sakuva said, it's still continuing. So, so the different participants on the panel will reflect on different aspects of that program. Afterwards, you will have a moment or two to ask questions, and we'll give responses if we are in a position to give a response. Okay, so for me to start, I just want to locate RPL and what it is. RPL makes the fundamental assumption that people continuously learn. They learn as they work, they learn as they socialize, they learn as they interact and perform other social roles and functions. Learning is integral part of living. So this learning create or generate knowledge and skills that is worthy of formal recognition. So within the project of recognition of prior learning, we're considering how can that learning be accredited for formal purposes. So that is essentially what the concept RPL is. In South Africa, RPL has a specific purpose, and the purpose is actually part of reconstruction and development. It is part of reconstruction in that there's a recognition that people were denied access to education, structurally to education, but this doesn't mean that they didn't learn. So through that recognition, a recognition of prior learning became a pillar of the National Qualifications Framework. In fact, it's so important that the South African Qualification Authority, as part of its definition of qualifications, said that the qualifications can be obtained in whole or in part through the recognition of prior learning. So that is, so at the point of liberation, we were promised of reconstruction. However, there was a delay for one or other reason. I must also add that the primary beneficiaries, when it was conceptualized, was adults should be the primary beneficiaries of recognition of prior learning. for the reasons mentioned above, the African proletariat, maybe the working class of they are the beneficiaries of RPL. So it's not only in South Africa that RPL is so central. In Africa, we see that the African Union had observed that people have a number of skills, but they don't have documentation. And they regard RPL as a strategic tool to rectify this position. Taking all of that into account, this was the motivation why DHEAD, or that part of the motivation why DHEAD decided to do good on that the promise at the point of liberation, to start a pilot project last year. And this is now what we will be reflecting on. I now ask Advocate Monica van der Walt, sorry, Advocate Monica van der Walt to talk on the issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the generation gap with the notes, handwritten notes, and the young ones on the cell phones, no? Just shows you how technology and how the young people are just moving differently. It's lovely. So let me just get closer to the CET project and give you a little bit of background where we are. In the Department of Higher Education and Training, we have a chief directorate called Social Inclusion. And that chief directorate is the chair of an interdepartmental task team on the recognition of prior learning. So that interdepartmental task team is a combination of about 7 different government departments. We meet once a quarter, and all these departments have RPL projects, and then we report to one another how it's going with our projects. And I must say, our CT branch is one of those that every quarter we have an update report that we give in that committee. So, like Professor Govender said and Dr. Hendricks, we all know people in our communities who have learned skills from their mothers and grandmothers. I remember when we went to Tutumfundu, one of the ladies who did the seamstress course there, I asked her, who taught you to work on a sewing machine and make clothes? And she said, my mother taught me on an old Singer machine. And she said, and my grandmother taught my mother on that same sewing machine. And I am making clothes on that same Singer sewing machine. We all know people like that. So what we are doing in CET and RPL is we must find the people in our communities who have skills that they have learned informally, formally, non-formally, through family traditions, and we must give them recognition and validation for what they know and what they can do. That's what it's all about. So what happened is, so then we started looking for money. Everything costs money. Then in 2023, the ETDP CETA gave us a little bit of money and they said, so go and establish RPL units in CET colleges. See if you can do that. And we said, no, it's fine. We'll take this money, we'll do this. So, before we did that, now we had to look for somebody that can help us do this. and we fished in many ponds. And then the university that stepped up and put up their hand and said, "We will do it," was the University of the Western Cape and this Institute for Post-School Studies. And they said, "Let's take your hand. We will walk the path with you." And so what we did is we decided to start small. We always say, start the project small, make it work. Once you see you've got a model that works, then you go big. So we decided to select the skills program in seamstress, which is accredited by the QCTO. And we asked which two colleges would like to try first. And then KZN and Gauteng put up their hand and they said, "We don't know what we are doing, but we're going to try." So then training started in 2024. So UWC traveled to KZN, Gauteng, did the training with our lecturers in seamstress. I see they are here. It's lovely. And then, as it is with any new project, there were growing pains. It's like a baby that has colic. No? Nobody says it's easy to implement something and you don't even know where to start. And they will tell you about the challenges they had. And lo and behold, they overcame the challenges. It wasn't easy sailing, but they will share that with you. Because in this training, you don't need to go and make the same mistakes and jump through the same hurdles. They will tell you, don't do it like this, do it like that. And they have taken the first cohort of seamstress RPL candidates in 4 community learning centers. The first candidates have gone through the project successfully, and there are 8 candidates that are waiting for their certificates from the QCTO. That's a big breakthrough. So, where are we now? In this year, now we know the model works, we know we can do it, we know how to do it, and now we are expanding. So, the people that are sitting here, you were selected carefully by your colleges to go in your community learning centers and to implement RPL in 1 or 2 skills programs for which you are accredited. And we are going to take your hand, the university is going to take your hand, and we are going to help you step by step how to do it. So we are here this week. 56 center managers and lecturers are here to be trained again. And what I always say is we cannot fly in aeroplanes, sleep in hotels, eat lovely lunches, and go back home and do nothing. Cannot be. So we must learn, we must understand when we go back. We are going to implement. So now this project officially rolls out to 2 centers per college. In other words, we are going to run RPL in 18 community learning centers, and we are going to broaden more than seamstress. We are bringing in end user computing, chef assistant, cook assistant, upholstery, welding. Can you see? Now it's rolling. So that is where we are now. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you very much, Advocate. I now ask Nomaslanga Nsile to present her perspective. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. My name is Nomalanga Nzele. and I come from KZN CT. And I want to share with the whole house, the essentiality of the training and the development of RPL system within the centers now and within each college, because there are a number of candidates or there are a number of people that must be involved when we are doing or when we are in the process of RPL. That is, first and foremost, your advisors. So we call them administrators, either or. They are very important aspects in the process of RPL. Those are also the facilitators. There is advisors, there's facilitators, there's assessors, there's also moderators. Also depends on the program. And the quality partners are also a big share stakeholders on that. The quality partners, I'm talking about the sitters that are the custodian of each program. Right now, we have been doing the pilot of this program with Simstress, for which the quality partner will be your FPNM sitter if you're accredited, and with others, as we will be joining also with different programs. You find that others will be doing a computer program, and then they will need to rope in MICT sitter. Also, the QCTO, which is a quality assurer of all these programs. If I were to actually talk about the training and the skills development of these stakeholders within the program, within each program, you need different stakeholders. You cannot say the administrator of seamstress will be the same as that one of your computer program. They must be different because they are dealing with a different program, different aspects of the program. Your advisor or your administrator will actually be the one that welcomes the students, the potential candidates that will be part of the RPL. Asking them for their CVs, asking them for their experience, because this prior learning comes in different ways. Others have worked, others have done it, as Dr. Monica has actually shared that others have learned from home. Others, all the tacit knowledge, all the little formal or non-formal knowledge that they have prior, the administrator needs to record that down, needs to get it from instructed and make it, formalize it from the potential candidate. So that training is essential for that particular administrator to know the program, also to be aware of what is expected from the program so that they put that information into a succinct and a clear way that is developed to actually talk to the facilitator. And the facilitator then will facilitate on the gaps that have been identified by the administrator, because we are teaching the gaps from the gaps. We are taking, you saying, what are the gaps for it to be NQF aligned when we have gotten the toolkit from the quality partner or the quality partner sitter. The toolkit will tell us how we need to extract information and how to find gaps from that program that we have enrolled to say that is going to be our RPL program. Also, then they will fill in those gaps, having had seen the POE. The advisor or the administrator also ensures that the POE is put in a right place or in a good place to say, if it's a seamstress and I can see you can make skirts, but your stitches are not regularly, are not regulated correctly, or they're not straight, then that's a gap. We will actually start from it maybe. So those are very important. And the assessors also assess on the things and on the NQF curricular program that they have been seen, that they have seen or they've been given through the toolkit to actually identify those gaps. I want to also actually make sure that we understand that here we are not doing a program. We are concentrating on the gaps of the program, because there is also prior learning that we want to actually now formalize and say this prior learning, we want to put it in a straight curricular way and also put it in an NQF way that will actually be quality assured by the QCTO. So let's make sure that when we do this program, these are not people that are just wondering about. These are essential people that we must have and that we must also train and retrain all the time, as Dr. As Advocate Van der Waals was saying earlier, that when we train and we train, we meet every 3 months and to see the progress. And these programs, before we start anything, we must know that our quality partners must always be there. So thank you very much, and thank you very much for this program. It's a very pivotal program for us, and as CET, we really appreciate this transformative process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Noma Franga. I now ask Fundile Glamini, please. Yeah.
Good afternoon, colleagues. I will be concentrating on the assessment and the quality assurance part of the program. So with the assessment, the very important thing that we must start with as colleges is that we need to let the quality partners, which is our seaters, inform. So as soon as you get a cohort of that certain skill, could be in ICT, could be in seamstress, you go to that relevant quality partner, you let them know that I've got a cohort that's going to start doing a seamstress program. Then the quality partner will then issue you guys with a toolkit. There's not a document, but there's a tool that we use for RPL that states that, okay, if they come to you, this is how you identify the gaps, this is how you're going to roll out the training, and this is how every single step that we need to take that ensures that everything that we're doing it's in line with QCTO as well as standards of the quality partner. From there, we then get what we in quality assurance. The quality assurance partner is the QCTO. After we've recruited the learners, the quality partner is aware that there are these learners. We then tell QCTO that here's 10 or 15 learners, we register them on the system. So there's another process of registering them in the system. Once they're registered and QCTO receives that batch of learners, QCTO then comes to the college. When they come to the college, they come and assess and also ensure that we're using the right tool, which is the toolkit. They come to ensure that we're implementing the program correctly. By implementing, the colleges or the centers need to have an implementation plan. So this is where the facilitator has a whole plan from day one what the students will be doing till the last day of the training. Also, another method that they check the quality assure is that each student needs to have a timetable because isn't to identify different gaps amongst the different students. Therefore, we're not all going to be in one class every single day. If she has a problem with stitching, maybe 2 or 3 in such a class, another one needs to become pattern depending on their gaps. And then after the whole training is done and finished, then we move on to the assessment. The assessment in RPL and within your quality partner, they issue you with a ASA. So the quality partner does the ASA, which is the extended assessment, summative assessment. Then they create for you. They submit to QCTO. QCTO then evaluates and approves that ASA. Once QCTO has approved the ASA, now the college has to go register the students again with QCTO. So every year, QCTO has a list of dates that the ASA is written. It's written at a certain time, not throughout the year. So you need to check when the ASA is written for that particular program. And then you need to register within 3 months or 3 months before the perfect dates of the QCTO days. And then the exam style is QCTO, they let the students know where everything is written. So that's another method also for them to quality assure that the assessment is done correctly. What the students now need to be enrolled in the center, as Mr. had said, they'll have to prove that if they say they can do a garment, they need to bring a garment that they've done. If they say that I don't need to be trained on a certain stitch, they need to bring an item or a project with that stitch proving that they qualify or it's at a certain level that is required. And then we could focus on the gaps. When it comes to now assessing the work that's been done after the training, the assessor and the moderator, both these individuals need to have an assessment certificate from the CETA, recognized by the CETA, in line with the skill that's been done. So if it's a seamstress, they need to be an assessor in seamstress. They need to be a moderator in seamstress. Again, they also need to be registered with the quality partner. Now, all of this ensures that when QCTO comes, QCTO requires a report from the assessor saying that the assessment work on the facilitator ends in standard with the quality partner and the digital standards. Again, the moderator will be moderating those files or those assessments that have been done. So, colleagues, this process is a lengthy process, it's a stressful process, but it's an important process because it ensures that we are doing what is the standard. Because QCTO and the CETAs have a subsidy agreement, they know what they expect from us and the standard that is expected from us. So, in order for our lecturers or students to qualify, we need to make sure that we follow all these rules. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kumalo, thank you very much. You continue.
And good afternoon, colleagues. Ndegeli Kumar is my name. Let me first declare that due to the weather as a Cape Town, I was supposed to be wearing our corporate colors as well. So whoever seeing us or seeing me with this thing, not the logo of the college, I'm sure it's not nice. But nevertheless, colleagues, here we're fixing an aeroplane while it's in the air. So we didn't have the time to learn and fix and move again because it was a new concept that came to us at the CET and say run with the RPL and see how much can we draw from that. So as the community college, we first of all we check like which centers that are accredited on our space, and then do we have necessary resources that are fit for purpose for this particular scheme. Then if I know we do have that, and then we've got also the lecturers that are capable to assist the learners. Remember, these people, they come to us and say, I know how to make a skate, I know how to make this, but now we are not sure whether you did that or not. So us as the college, firstly, as my colleagues explained, that we need to have a tool. Mara, before that, we had the challenges. Remember, it was a new baby even to us. And I was saying, hey, now how are I gonna check the level of understanding, the knowledge of about this particular person in this skill? So we tried this, we tried that phase up until we said, maybe let us try to develop a tool that will assist us to identify the gap. This lady or this man knows up to which level. Fortunately, while we are still trying, find working for us. And then again, remember, we once implement a same-stress program for a peace program for somebody who doesn't know anything. And then there was a tool that was developed and verified by the CTO and saying this tool can be used to assess this particular student. Then we try to use that tool as well. But now, in fact, it does not work. Remember, this one, it doesn't have English, maybe. You don't put in English, maybe cannot even read and write. But the tool requires them to write and read. So now, how can I do that? And say, remember, as my choice, let us develop an oral tool, an oral question. And that oral question, it must have at least 4 languages: English, English, Zulu, Xhosa, Sepedi, or whatever language. Maybe my this learner can at least know Zulu a bit. So at least when he reads, he understands what is needed. And then for sure, we tried that one, it worked. Then we sent it to the GCTO. Fortunately, they approved the tool. So that now use the tool now to test the student. Then we did that part, but now we're still waiting for the result. We hope we hope when they go through all the stuff, they will find it real. And if they remember the first time, again, our hearts are open. So that if they say, come on, go and fix 1, 2, 3, can go back and rectify the tool and make it work. Up until we master that. But fortunately, we managed to assist 8 students build their portfolios. They've got the evidence, and I'm sure with the RPL international visit, when they came, they went through those evidence. they see it working. But up until our learners are certified by the QCTO, will happy and say, this thing is working now. And then lastly, as the college as well, because once you master once you master on the seamstress, now it's easy to do on the other programs. Remember, we are accredited to implement almost 8 programs, but our colleges, my partners here, I'm sure there are about 20 or 8 of them, KZN. So, but in pull our 8, that is your seamstress, your cook assistant, your assistant baker, your welding, your upholstery, your staff. And then we are definitely sure that the same concept, it will apply to that one as well. As we are going back to how they advocate and the team and the how they as a whole, we are going to make it work because now at least we've got the line. We know don't move so fast because these people remember things that they're in a different understanding. Some can do stage but in a wrong way. So, but now you can't put that and the same one happen. So, really, it's a lot that needs to be done on the same stress. Marage with the University of Western Cape will get more information moving forward. Also with ours, then I'm sure we will be able to manage to eat this buffalo, all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay. I think I now invite the plenary to ask questions or comments. Yes, sir.
No, thank you, Doc, and thank you to all panel members for sharing information. My name is Joseph. I'm from Northern Cape. I just wanted firstly to check on the members. Mr. Kumali spoke about accreditation. We also have programs that are accredited by the QCTO. I just wanted to check whether are we supposed, I mean, for us to go back and start, are we supposed to register firstly as an RPL center, or as long as the centers are accredited to offer the programs which QCTO accredit, then we can go back and start implementing. And secondly, on the issue of the tool, I think we are behind. That's why we're not sitting in front there as as one of the panel members. It's because we don't know the way to start. Maybe in terms of the template or the tool which they spoke about, even if it's for the same stress, I will also appreciate if we can have that tool as a guide on how to we can rework on the tool, aligning it to other programs that we are accredited on. We do have students who need this RPL because they're coming already with the knowledge. Then on the we spoke of also you spoke of the portfolios, collection of evidence. Then the type, I'm not sure whether we have when we compile this portfolio, are we informed by the curriculum document of PCTO, or what informs the portfolio of evidence? I'm just thinking here, collecting different types of information, even for the same program, we might end up having a lot of information, but which is not uniform or standard. Then quality assurance, we rely only on you said quality partners like QCTO. There's no any other, there's a process of internal moderation in an institution where before we send the document out, the portfolio out, we can do our own quality assurance process. Mm. I think that is all, Doc. Thank you.
One more person, and then we'll get the response.
Thank you so much. Good morning, panel and everybody. Thank you so much with what you've shared. I must say, there's a light also in me in understanding. I am interested more on, again, the start. You mentioned that there's a tool that you use to determine where they have the knowledge and skills as well as the gaps. Now, as you put it, that we may be, yes, we have this prior knowledge in seamstress. However, in terms of our knowledge and skills, we may be at different, I'm good at this one, but not good at that one. And so we are seated here as a group in various capabilities within the same program. Now, what I want to understand, how do you then, as a facilitator, go about now you having these people having different needs and gaps? How, when you start your class, as an educator, generally, I know when I plan, I'm planning for students at different levels and I know how to approach. But now this is a skill. So if now this one is already able to cut a pattern straight, but only struggles in putting together, but this one is good in putting together, but not able to cut. How do you then begin your class? And in terms of duration, when do you then say, now my students have mastered in terms of now the duration and say now I'm done with the program at this point in time? And so if you can just assist me, give me more clarity, I will appreciate that. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Who would like to respond to? Yeah.
Oh, all right. For me, I'd like to respond firstly. Thank you very much for the questions. I'd like to respond firstly on the administrators or the advisors actually putting together and the facilitator portfolio of evidence, because that's what also determines then what knowledge do you have, you know. That's why this training I always spoke about, that this prior training of all these is really very important. And remember, we also stated that it's very important these stakeholders that are part of that one program, then you involve all of them simultaneously within or within the start of the program, because we have an administrator that will deal with support, um, the entrance, the throughput, you know, and the exit up to the exit of the potential candidate or the student. To say we want the administrative things. That's why they call them an advisor or administrator. All the administrative process, your CV, your IDs, all the nitty-gritties about the person, because that determines their experience and how they got to actually do this. How much have they done? Have they done anything? Are they selling anything? Have they, you know? And then that is put together into that portfolio of evidence to say, for this number of years, I have been stitching, I have been doing this program, or I have been doing, I've been working on or with seamstress or with garment making. So then, therefore, you are able to put together everything. Remember, the facilitators who spoke about accreditation. They are already accredited with for doing this program. So they already know and how to source out information, how to see where the, you know, the standard of the program, because they are facilitating this program anyway. They're not being accredited now. They've done this before. So the toolkit comes with the quality partner, which is your sitter. With this developed also a curriculum by QCCO that we are also following. So they are able to know the knowledge to differentiate between the practical and the knowledge models and what is needed there already. So the toolkit from the quality partner, the CETA, We'll tell them how to identify these gaps and how to put it into a formal knowledge to say, this is the gap, this is where we need to, and how we need to actually navigate ourselves in terms of making sure that this runs and then it's quality, we will be able to be quality assured into an NQF streamlined kind of a qualification or at the end of the day. So that's how we actually get to make or do the portfolio of evidence. Flexibility or the toolkit.
With the toolkit part, what we did, we reached out to FPN and SEET. So we reached out to FPN and we asked for advice and assistance on how to actually acquire the toolkit and then how to then implement the toolkit, which then they responded and then gave us the toolkit, which then that's what we used to implement it. And then in terms of quality assuring within the centers before we take it to the external stakeholders, for example, QCTO, when they come for monitoring, they give you like a checklist to ensure that it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When they come here, they'll be checking this. This must be prepared. As I said, there's also going to be the assessors report and the moderators reports. So there are tools in between or along the way that are given to us to ensure that we're actually doing the right thing before they actually come for the entire assistance.
In terms of the center that is accredited, we don't need to go and ask to be RPL accredited. Once we are accredited to offer an assist program, we can just implement the RPL straight away. As long as you have all what we've been talking about. And remember, another thing that I forgot to mention, you must have also the tools like your voice recorder. Remember, when you do an oral, oral, you ask the person a question, when they answer, you need to record that as a proof of evidence. Or a video recorder as well. You need to record the whole video while the learner measuring, cutting, and stuff like that. So we have all those equipment. Then once you've got that, you can just implement your RPL right away. So you don't need to go and apply to be an RPL center and stuff like that. Then my colleagues have answered that about it. The tool, yes, it is like that. And remember, colleagues, there is a skills for curriculum document. Remember, a learner who went through a course, a 6 months course in seamstress from beginning to end. When he get a certificate, and the learner who did RPL to get the certificate. So now both people or both candidates, they must be the same knowledge based on the content of the document. So whether RPL or straight learnership or skills program, the curriculum document, it must talk to this one as well. So the evidence, this must collect the same evidence this one must also have. So can't differentiate the two and say when I funded night school, when you did during the day, but the matrix. So the quantification weight still the same, RPL or not RPL. I'm sure I've answered the question I just wanted to ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll just take 2 more questions. We conclude. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor, and ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tabo. I'm from Free State City College. I just want to take this opportunity to thank the panel for their presentation. You know, it has opened my eyes. I must confess that we tried this program and we messed up. We got funding from Mersita to implement RPL in automotive body repair and spray painter, welding, and electrician. Now, our first step was to recruit learners. and we didn't know much about that. We developed a recruitment or an advert, send it to the community to say, if you have been welding for at least 3 years, you have been panel beating for at least 3 years, please come. We are going to RPL you. They came. We selected those that we thought met the minimum requirements. Appointed a training provider or a trade test center. When these learners then went to the trade test center, we got reports. No, 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 no. These people do not meet the minimum requirements. They said there was a lot of gap cover that must be done. And that would cost us a lot of money. So we said to them, okay, please continue. Fortunately, they continued, and we got about 70% success rate. But I must say that as a college, we really did not participate much in this thing because we didn't know anything about it. Had we known, we could have done what the panelists have said. So that is why I'm saying I really want to thank the panelists for this information. But now my question is, you spoke about assessors and moderators. Where do we get these people? We may have a facilitator for, let's say, for welding. But now for assessment and moderation, where do we get those people? For how do we get those people? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Godfrey Nawa from Pumala City College. I want to take this opportunity and appreciate the presentations in relation to RPL. Yeah, my colleague here has covered issue around capacity. Capacity is a thorn in the flesh. That where do you get all this human capital in terms of assessor, admin, moderator, and so forth, and many others? Because in exception of those human capital, then that will obviously not fly, the process itself. Now, I do have a question of some sort that RPL is more about dealing with the prior knowledge, and we have community members that were exposed in their lives in relation to a particular skill in the community. Now, here are we're identifying the gaps. So I had one of the panelists there saying that the identification of the gaps, let's say in an event where you are checking on a stitch in a seamstress, this particular candidate claims that I do have a know-how of this stitch. That particular student or candidate must bring in something with similar stitches, if I captured this well. So my question is, how do you conduct a due diligence in relation to that? Because a community member can bring the very same stitch that you are looking for, that has been done by the grandmother or whoever there. So my question is around dealing with the due diligence. That is very much core.
Authenticity.
It's very much a primary core to me.
Mm.
Yeah, to say it's bringing this to you. Now, then how do you adjudicate that indeed this has been done by him or her? Yes, that is very much important. I just want to check on that.
Thank
Thanks.
you very much. May I have that as the last question and we'll have responses.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Afikile Mvundlela from Northern Cape CET. My question, I think I need a clarity, not related to the seamstress, but to other programs, which is, for an example, the basic end user computing. Since you have mentioned, or Mr. Kumar mentioned something about the tool. Okay, the QCTO tool says this, the candidate is supposed to be able to read and write. And then if I heard correctly, you said you have developed your own tool and send it to QCTO for approval. Then you were able to use your tool. That means you were trying to adjust that tool of QCTO in order to accommodate the needs of the center, whereas the students was not able to read and write. So I would like to know, are we able to adjust that tool to accommodate the needs of the center? And also coming to the basic end user computing, I'm thinking about our level fours. The requirements for a basic end user computing is the minimum of grade 10, of which our level fours, they are having our level fours, is equivalent to grade 9. What can we do in that case? Now we have a student who passed level 4, and then the candidate is interested to do a basic end user computing. But according to requirements of the QC2O, it says you're supposed to have a minimum of grade 10s. How can we fill that gap to accommodate that learner? Because remember, the student was doing the INCT, of which the prior knowledge is there with the INCT, but now the NQF level doesn't meet the QC2O requirement. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm now going to ask for responses. Just to say that we have 3 more days that we will be together and we can ask additional questions, and some of the questions is part actually of the training. So, but I'll invite the panelists to respond to some of the issues.
Yeah, thank you very much again for the questions. I appreciate what Bloemfontein has done with Mercita, and that we could actually assist someone to actually clearing the fog about RPL issues. And so it is always imperative. I think the two gentlemen's questions were interrelated somewhat. So maybe I'll be able to kill, two birds with one stone some way. And I'm realizing that when we come to advisors and your assessors and your facilitators, remember, we already are accredited with the programs that we are going to start, RPL. I do understand in our CT sector, we have a problem. We may have facilitators and we do have a problem of assessors and moderators. Thanks. In that instance, we are able to outsource with the quality partners where we are short. And we are also able to say, if I am KZN and you accounting, and somewhere there you have a moderator or you have an assessor, we can swap and use those. It's allowed. And when we do with the portfolio of evidences, they have brought portfolio of evidence to actually quality check those and to say this exactly indeed comes from the student. We do tests before. There are prior tests that are done to check where exactly. That's how we extract the tacit knowledge. That's how we extract the experiential learning that the student says they have. using the curriculum document that Mr. Kumalo was talking about from the QCTO, that this is a document that we need to follow for this particular program. So let us test first. So there are summative assessments that are done within the college, internal assessments within the program prior to it being done to assess the gaps. The first, it's not like with the full program where the students, they all don't know and you're starting from the afresh, but or in a clean slate. But with RPL, you first test the knowledge that is there, then you implement the program. Thanks.
Thanks again. There's the principles that we attach to when we conduct these particular programs, like the VAX principle, the VAX as well as that is your validity, authenticity. So you can't come with the work. I must prove that the work is your author. You are the one who produced this evidence. I can't just say no because you show me this. Then I say no, we are good. And then again, there's a principle, the RPL, the appropriateness, meaning that every learner, I must use a method that is appropriate to that particular learner to make sure that when I do a judgment, I do a judgment because I've got full evidence. Now, if the learner and the sum of the qualification, it states the entry requirement says open. Like for example, end user level 3 says open, doesn't have the metric whatsoever. So it means that now, even the learner who never went to school, but he has a computer at home, maybe like me, I'm a computer specialist. My son knows computer like nobody's business, but he never studied it. So now we can assess that particular person using an appropriate tool to get the evidence that is in line with the curriculum document. So those are the things that we use, nothing else. So basically, even if our academic can still assess that learner, as long as he proves that he can open the Word document, type, print, save, create documents, and all those learning outcomes. He managed to do that. Why not? Thank you.
Okay, just to share for the last time. I do remember we just started, this was piloted between KZN and Gauteng, and the issue of illiteracy was a big one, especially with Ms. Tomno. I remember in one of our meetings that whatever that we do, when we discover that there are students that cannot read and write, we need to start them with ACET. It's our legacy program that we need to start our learners with before we can actually assume them or promote them to any higher levels. So when that comes, please enroll them to these higher programs.
Okay, thank you very much. I need to draw this conversation now to a close because we also have other parts of the program. But to say that the discussion was fairly fruitful, we've identified some of our concerns in conversation, but some of the issues that you've raised, that is the substance of the training program. We will talk about the credibility of authenticity of evidence when we assess, etc. So I wish you all well in this endeavor. And I know there are a lot of questions, but do ask those questions as we take you through the program. Thank you very much. Dr. Oli, maybe this is the next step. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Hendricks and colleagues, for a wonderful presentation, and thank you for all the work that you did. Mr. Kumalo and Ms. Tele and Ms. Dlamini were our support during this period, as well as Advocate van der Walt steering us. But I must just indicate that these project managers and the project coordinator, they went out of their way to contact people, to run after people, to look for files. And even up to now, there are still some things that we need to close off in the pilot project, and they are still working hard. So thank you so much. And therefore, you are experts because you have done the work. Thank you so much. Okay, so the next part of the program, we will move into classroom 2. It's right at the end there. There's a bag with a learner manual and a training manual for each of us. So if you can just collect your bag and find a seat, and then there are some people who have missed lunch, so we will give them an opportunity to get something to eat, and then we will start the formal training program there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.